Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to get started using Eclipse if you've already created a BlueJ project. And to attempt to do two things at once here, I'm going to do it with a simple Carl J. robot project so you can get that running on Eclipse as well. First of all, let me show you what this does. This is one of the earliest and simplest Carl robot exercises on page 21, and I called it not very wisely problem 1. And what it does is have Carl go around a wall to fetch a beeper. Fairly simple. I'm just going to run it now, and I'll try to move the goings on within view here. So it started here, went around to get the beeper. Okay, let's move this aside for the moment and look at what we have in Eclipse. Now, I showed you how to set up Eclipse in a separate video, and you will recall that you have to choose a workspace. Now, a workspace is just a directory where all your current projects are kept. There's no show workspace command, but you can do that indirectly by starting the process of switching to a new workspace. And we'll click File, Switch Workspace, Other, and the default displayed in the box here is simply your current workspace. So I happen to know where this is, but I thought I would show you how to figure it out if you forget. So here's your current workspace. So let's cancel because I don't really want to change. Now I'm going to bring up a file browser and find that workspace. As I said, I happen to know where it is, and it's right here. And you can see that not every directory is in the Package Explorer. There is this folder called Metadata, which tells Eclipse what you're working on and various other details. And it so happens I have projects in this folder and this folder, but not in this thing called Legacy, where I'm storing other things. So only these two show up. So anything you want to add to the Package Explorer, you have to do through Eclipse. You can't just do it in the Windows file browser. So let's start by creating a Java project. We'll click File, New, Java Project, and we'll call this Carl Demo. And we'll use the default location, which is our current workspace. We can take the defaults, and we don't have to change anything here, and we'll click Finish. And now we see that we have our new project. And if we look in the File Explorer, we'll see that Eclipse has created a new directory. Okay, you may have heard a little bit about packages. Eclipse requires you to have a package. Otherwise, it will put something in something called the default package, which is a little messier than you want. In a couple of these tutorial projects up here, we see that under Total Beginner here are our source files, and there is a project underneath. So let's first create a project here under the source directory. Let's right-click, select New, Package. Now, if you play strictly by the rules, every Java project you create should have a package name that's unique in the universe. I mean, almost literally. And the way this is done is that generally the project you're working on is associated with a company or an organization or something like that. And so web browser URLs are generally used to label these things. Now you may have noticed that I have a URL mjspiegelin.com. So the convention is simply to reverse that, and I'll type com.mjspiegelin. Now you can do this for yourself even if this website doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. It's just a name for something. So you might call your package com.typicalstudent. And it doesn't matter whether that's really out there. It's just a label. And you could put your own name in if you want. So I'm going to put my name here. And we can make any number of levels we want. I'm just going to create 2 more. I'll call this Carl because I may want to start other projects with this name. And I'll just call this Carl Demo. And you'll notice that anytime you have a valid package name, Eclipse is happy. I can't terminate a package name in a period, so it will warn me that that's invalid. So I have a valid package name, and now we're done. And finally, let's create a class for our project. And unlike in BlueJ where I just called it prob1, I'll call this something a little more intelligent. Create a class, and I'll call it Carl Block because it walks around the block. And I don't have to change anything else. And that's that. I have the outline for my class. The package is declared up here, and but there's no code. So let's go ahead and steal the code from BlueJ. Let's go over here, open up our class, and let's just steal the main method here. So I'll highlight this, Control C for copy, set this aside, and now I'll paste the code in here. Need a couple of other things. Just quickly, if you haven't gone through the tutorials yet, you can expand any tab to the full size of the Eclipse window just by double-clicking on it. So we'll do that here. Give ourselves a little more space. We also need to get the import Carl the Robot, so I'll just copy that and paste it here. I'm going to add another line. And we've taken everything we need from BlueJ, so let's close this window. And we see there's some problems here. The squiggly red underline means that Eclipse doesn't like something. First of all, we can't find the Carl the Robot import, and we're going to have to supply that. Now that's just the Carl Robot jar file. I showed you how to include that in BlueJ. For Eclipse, it looks a little different. So let me double click to restore the size of the edit window. And what I think I will do, and I don't know whether this is strictly standard, is create a folder in the Carl demo project. So I'll right click, new folder, and I'll just call this lib for library. Click finish. Now I can't do this step from inside Eclipse. What I need to do, first of all, let's find that library folder, open up the project. Here it is. Double click, now it's open. And now I have to find that Carl Robot jar file. Here we are. And I'll copy it over. Okay, there we are. Now I think I'm done with this window. Let's get this out of the way. And now anytime you have an error in Eclipse, Eclipse will give you hints for fixing it. Now in this particular case, because I've tried this already, I know what we need to do is fix the project setup. So let's go down here, click this, and we have to do this manually, so we'll click here to continue. And this is our build path. Now it so happens that we have to use the tab Add External Jar because the Chiral Robot jar is not strictly speaking inside this project because of where I put it. So let's click here, and it so happens that we end up where we need to be. Let's select that project, that jar file rather. Click OK. And now the problems have gone away. Oh, and notice there's still a problem here, and that's because I forgot to copy over the implements directions part. So let me put that in here. That's also part of the Chiral Robot import, so that should be okay. Our problem went away. So let's go ahead and run this now. Let's click here to save, and now let's run it. And let's see if I can get the display in here while you can still see it. Here we go. And we see that it's working okay, except our landscape is missing. The wall and the beeper are not present. And it so happens, let's go back to the original BlueJ project. Open up a browser window here. Okay, here's the world file, and we have to put this where the where our project will be able to find it. See, here's the problem. It tried to read in this world file, but it couldn't find it. So let me see my other window here. Okay, here's our workspace, here's our project, and it so happens that we have to put it at the top level of our project folder. That is considered the current directory when your project runs. So let's copy this over. There's our world file. And now let's run this again. And let's see if I can get this in view. Now the wall is there, the beeper is there, and we're good. So I'm sure you have lots more questions. It'll take a while to get the hang of this, but this has already gone on long enough, so I will stop this video here. And as usual, contact me if you have any questions, and in particular, let me know what other subjects you'd like to see videos like this on. See you later.